Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The business of issuing printed matter for sale or distribution. The act of issuing printed materials. A copy of a printed work offered for distribution. The communication of something to the public, making information generally known. The business of issuing printed matter for sale or distribution. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Circulate or distribute or equip with. Issue a new uniform to the children. Come out of. Water issued from the hole in the wall. The act of issuing printed materials. One of a series published periodically. She found an old issue of the magazine in her dentist's waiting room. An opening that permits escape or release. The canyon had only one issue. The becoming visible. Prepare an issue for public distribution or sale. Supplies, as food or clothing or ammunition, issued by the government. The immediate descendants of a person. He died without issue. The act of providing an item for general use or for official purposes, usually in quantity. A new issue of stamps. Make out an issue. Some situation or event that is thought about. An important question that is in dispute and must be settled. The issue could be settled by requiring public education for everyone. Bring out an official document, such as a warrant. The activity of providing goods and services involving financial and commercial and industrial aspects. An enterprise connected with commerce. The activity of providing goods and services involving financial and commercial and industrial aspects. A commercial or industrial enterprise and the people who constitute it. He bought his brother's business. Incidental activity performed by an actor for dramatic effect. His business with the cane was hilarious. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Business concerns collectively. Government and business could not agree. Customers collectively. The activity of providing goods and services involving financial and commercial and industrial aspects. Computers are now widely used in business. An immediate objective. Gossip was the main business of the evening. A rightful concern or responsibility. It's none of your business. The volume of commercial activity. Business is good today. Reproduction by applying ink to paper as for publication. All the copies of a work printed at one time. They ran off an initial printing of 2,000 copies. Text handwritten in the style of printed matter. The business of producing printed material for sale or distribution. Make uniform. Work the clay until it is soft. Perform as expected when applied. This old radio doesn't work anymore. Be employed. Is your husband working again? Applying the mind to learning and understanding a subject, especially by reading. Mastering a second language requires a lot of work. Have and exert influence or effect. The artist's work influenced the young painter. Make something, usually for a specific function. Cause to happen or to occur as a consequence. I cannot work a miracle. The occupation for which you are paid. A lot of people are out of work. Cause to work. He is working his servants hard. Find the solution to a problem or question, or understand the meaning of. This unpleasant situation isn't going to work itself out. A product produced or accomplished through the effort or activity or agency of a person or thing. It is not regarded as one of his more memorable works. Have an effect or outcome, often the one desired or expected. The voting process doesn't work as well as people thought. Use or manipulate to one's advantage. She knows how to work the system. Proceed along a path. Work one's way through the crowd. Prepare for crops. Shape, form, or improve a material. Work stone into tools. A place where work is done. He arrived at work early today. Cause to undergo fermentation. The vintner worked the wine in big oak vats. The total output of a writer or artist, or a substantial part of it. Picasso's work can be divided into periods. Give a workout to. My personal trainer works me hard. Go sour or spoil. The wine worked. Activity directed toward making or doing something. She checked several points needing further work. Arrive at a certain condition through repeated motion. The stitches of the hem worked loose after she wore the skirt many times. Behave in a certain way when handled. This dough does not work easily. Cause to operate or function. This pilot works the controls. Exert oneself by doing mental or physical work for a purpose or out of necessity. I will work hard to improve my grades. Gratify and charm, usually in order to influence. The political candidate worked the crowds. Move in an agitated manner. His fingers worked with tension. Move into or onto. Work the raisins into the dough. Operate in a certain place, area, or specialty. She works the nightclubs. Operate in or through. Physics, a manifestation of energy. The transfer of energy from one physical system to another expressed as the product of a force and the distance through which it moves a body in the direction of that force. Work equals force times distance. Proceed towards a goal or along a path or through an activity. Work your way through every problem or task. Provoke or excite. The rock musician worked the crowd of young girls into a frenzy. A product produced or accomplished through the effort or activity or agency of a person or thing. The activity of communicating. The activity of conveying information. They could not act without official communication from Moscow. A connection allowing access between persons or places. How many lines of communication can there be among four people? Something that is communicated by or to or between people or groups. The act of publishing again. Something that has been published again. A fresh publication, as of a literary work. The act of publishing again. Publication in serial form. Publication in serial form. Computer science. The use of microcomputers with graphics capacity to produce printed materials. The effort contributed by a person in bringing about a result. I am proud of my contribution in advancing the project. Act of giving in common with others for a common purpose, especially to a charity. A voluntary gift, as of money or service or ideas, made to some worthwhile cause. An amount of money contributed. He expected his contribution to be repaid with interest. A writing for publication, especially one of a collection of writings as an article or story. Print anew. They never reprinted the famous treatise. A publication, such as a book, that is reprinted without changes or editing and offered again for sale. A separately printed article that originally appeared in a larger publication. Have or contain a certain wording or form. The passage reads as follows. Make sense of a language. Can you read Greek? Obtain data from magnetic tapes or other digital sources. This dictionary can be read by the computer. Indicate a certain reading of gauges and instruments. The gauge read, empty. Interpret something in a certain way. Convey a particular meaning or impression. I read this address as a satire. Be a student of a certain subject. She is reading for the bar exam. Audition for a stage role by reading parts of a role. Interpret something that is written or printed. Read the advertisement. Interpret the significance of, as of palms, tea leaves, intestines, the sky, also of human behavior. She read the sky and predicted rain. Look at, interpret, and say out loud something that is written or printed. The king will read the proclamation at noon. Something that is read. The article was a very good read. To hear and understand. I read you loud and clear. A formal recommendation by a former employer to a potential future employer describing the person's qualifications and dependability. Requests for character references are all too often answered evasively. A publication, or a passage from a publication, that is referred to. He carried an armful of references back to his desk. The act of referring or consulting. Reference to an encyclopedia produced the answer. A short note recognizing a source of information or of a quoted passage. The most direct or specific meaning of a word or expression. The class of objects that an expression refers to. A remark that calls attention to something or someone. The speaker made several references to his wife. Computer science. The code that identifies where a piece of information is stored. A book to which you can refer for authoritative facts. He contributed articles to the basic reference work on that topic. Refer to. He referenced his colleague's work. An indicator that orients you generally. It is used as a reference for comparing the heating and the electrical energy involved. The relation between a word or phrase and the object or idea it refers to. He argued that reference is a consequence of conditioned reflexes. Print anew. A publication, such as a book, that is reprinted without changes or editing and offered again for sale. Issue, a new version of. If you forget your password, it can be changed and reissued. A publication, or a passage from a publication, that is referred to. He spent hours looking for the source of that quotation. Someone who originates or causes or initiates something. Anything, a person or animal or plant or substance, in which an infectious agent normally lives and multiplies. The place where something begins, where it springs into being. Pittsburgh is the source of the Ohio River. Anything that provides inspiration for later work. A person who supplies information. A document, or organization, from which information is obtained. The reporter had two sources for the story. A facility where something is available. Get, a product, from another country or business. She sourced a supply of carpet. Specify the origin of. The writer carefully sourced her report. Technology, a process by which energy or a substance enters a system. A heat source. A publication containing a variety of works. A concise but comprehensive summary of a larger work. A publication, such as a book, that is reprinted without changes or editing and offered again for sale. Physical objects consisting of a number of pages bound together. The property of something that is great in magnitude. The volume of exports. The magnitude of sound, usually in a specified direction. The kids played their music at full volume. A publication that is one of a set of several similar publications. The third volume was missing. A relative amount. Mix 1 volume of the solution with 10 volumes of water. The amount of three-dimensional space occupied by an object. The gas expanded to twice its original volume. Physical objects consisting of a number of pages bound together. He used a large book as a doorstop. A record in which commercial accounts are recorded. They got a subpoena to examine our books. The sacred writings of Islam revealed by God to the Prophet Muhammad during his life at Mecca and Medina. A compilation of the known facts regarding something or someone. His name is in all the record books. A written version of a play or other dramatic composition, used in preparing for a performance. The sacred writings of the Christian religions. A collection of rules or prescribed standards on the basis of which decisions are made. They run things by the book around here. Arrange for and reserve something for someone else in advance. The agent booked tickets to the show for the whole family. A collection of playing cards satisfying the rules of a card game. A major division of a long written composition. The Book of Isaiah. A number of sheets, ticket or stamps, etc., bound together on one edge. He bought a book of stamps. A written work or composition that has been published, printed on pages bound together. I am reading a good book on economics. Engage for a performance. Her agent had booked her for several concerts in Tokyo. Record a charge in a police register. The policeman booked her when she tried to solicit a man. Register in a hotel booker. Request for a sum of money. Several things grouped together or considered as a whole. The act of gathering something together. A publication containing a variety of works. A concavity in a surface produced by pressing. He left the impression of his fingers in the soft mud. A symbol that is the result of printing or engraving. An outward appearance. He made a good impression. A clear and telling mental image. The events left a permanent impression in his mind. All the copies of a work printed at one time. A vague idea in which some confidence is placed. His impression of her was favorable. An impressionistic portrayal of a person. He did a funny impression of a politician. Dentistry, an imprint of the teeth and gums in wax or plaster. The dentist took an impression for use in preparing an inlay. The act of pressing one thing on or into the surface of another. He watched the impression of the seal on the hot wax. A periodic publication containing pictures and stories and articles of interest to those who purchase it or subscribe to it. It takes several years before a magazine starts to break even or make money. A business firm that publishes magazines. He works for a magazine. A metal frame or container holding cartridges can be inserted into an automatic gun. A light tight supply chamber holding the film and supplying it for exposure as required. A storehouse, as a compartment on a warship, where weapons and ammunition are stored. A periodic publication containing pictures and stories and articles of interest to those who purchase it or subscribe to it. It takes several years before a magazine starts to break even or make money. Product consisting of a paperback periodic publication as a physical object. Tripped over a pile of magazines. A publication containing the latest information or tips or predictions for a particular business or stock market information or horse racing results, etc. A publication, such as a book, that has been modified or updated and offered again for sale.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.